The cost of groceries is still rising as well, 6.9% in August, but that is slightly slower. Grocery prices actually fell by 0.4% between the months of July and August. Let's bring in Sylvain Charlebois, leading expert on Canada's food industry, the senior director at the Agri-Food Analytics Lab at Dalhousie University. Sylvain, good to see you. Your take on inflation, 4% in August, and the impact.
It's what we predicted, really. So first of all, the food inflation rate is at its lowest since February 2022, which means that things are really calming down. And the gap between the general inflation rate and food inflation is now at 2.8%, its lowest in a year. So things are looking good. And in fact, when you look at all food categories, only one category is more expensive compared to July, and that's fish. Not a huge category. And so things, you can feel that across the grocery store, prices are starting to stabilize already.
Okay, so good trend lines here. What do you think the next couple of months might look like? What's your take?
More loss leaders, actually. So again, the FAO mentioned last week that world food prices are at the lowest point in the last couple of years, which really is setting up a nice fall for consumers looking for deals. So I expect some staples to actually be cheaper this fall. So it's a much better fall, I think, than last year for sure. Last year was violent. This year, things are going to be much more manageable for Canadian households.
Hey, Sylvain, give me your blunt take on this meeting that happened on Monday between the CEOs of Canada's biggest grocery chains and the federal industry minister. The Trudeau government sort of knocking heads, so to speak, saying, look, you got to help us, you got to cut prices, or else we want a plan in place by Thanksgiving. Honestly speaking, what do you think is going to come out of all this?
Well, I was there. I was invited by the minister to brief the group on food inflation and consumer trust, and frankly, we wanted to focus more on solutions instead of finger pointing, and that's exactly what happened. I think that that CEOs came in the room in good faith, and the minister actually got the assistance he was looking for. In fact, I'll be honest, Todd, to actually get those 5 people in the same room at the same time was a miracle.
Yeah, you're right, because they're busy, and they didn't really have a lot of lead time.
And they compete against each other.
Yeah, and they compete against each other. But I guess they realized how serious this actually is, and as a gesture of good faith, I gather they wanted to show up, and also they know that in certain quarters they take some heat here. There are those who say that they are profiteering off the backs of Canadians, Sylvain.
That's right. So in the outset, I did say that I do fail to see any evidence of profiteering right now in the industry. But I did say to CEOs that 82% of Canadians actually believe that greed is behind higher food prices. So we have to deal with this right now.
Hey, realistically, what do you think they might do? What would a plan of action by Thanksgiving look like? What are the contours?
Yeah, so I can't talk about specifics. I'm not allowed to. You may want to ask the minister for that, but I actually do think there is going to be a plan by Thanksgiving. And but when you look at the numbers, Todd, today coming from Statistics Canada, you can feel that markets are actually addressing our food inflation issue already. And so by the end of this year, we are expecting the food inflation rate to be at around 5%, which is lower than now.
Sylvain, joining us, Sylvain Charlebois from Dalhousie University in Halifax. He was at that meeting yesterday involving those CEOs and the federal government trying to bring down grocery prices. Good to see you, Sylvain. Thanks for taking time today.
Take care.